All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. And today we are SKOL'ing with the Enemy. And our enemy today is Jay Tuck from Cowboys Fans Only. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. That's SKOL, man. I got my Cowboys cup, man. But SKOL, man, I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Check out his YouTube channel. It's fantastic. Great to have you here today. Talk a little Cowboys Vikings. One team is trending up, one team is kind of trending down, but in the 2020 year, you never know what the hell's going to happen.
Exactly. And especially with us, man, I feel like we're kind of maybe not trending up, just slightly a little bit better than what we started from, because the first few games were rough as a Cowboys fan, to be honest with you.
Absolutely. Well, the first thing I want to ask you about, and this is, a familiar face from the NFC North, came to Dallas as the new head coach, Mike McCarthy. First of all, I mean, what was your initial feelings when you heard he was going to be the new head coach? And what are your feelings now after it's been about 9-10 games?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I was one of the few guys who tweeted out earlier when we fired Jason Garrett that I would like to have Mike McCarthy as the head coach. I think it would have been a great fit. Now, granted, we had the fantasy ideas of maybe Urban Meyer, Lincoln Riley, and guys like that, but I feel like Mike McCarthy made the most sense. So when we hired him, I was extremely ecstatic, especially seeing some of the guys he brought in along with them with the coaching experience. But I would say after a few games, there's a lot of questionable decisions that I saw, which I really didn't expect from him. Even going back to week 1 versus the Rams going for it on 4th down, all the fake punts and miscues, it really felt like our team wasn't in sync. And once we lost Dak Prescott, I felt like he started to lose the team a lot. And I feel like if, what Mike McCarthy is really known for is being a play calling guy, like that's his niche. But if he's not calling the plays, and he's already losing the locker room, like what value do you bring this team? But I feel like as of right now, Mike McCarthy is starting to earn the trust with a lot of these players. So I'm going to give him a little bit more time, man. So it's been a bumpy ride with Mike McCarthy, but we have had a lot of injuries, to be fair to Mike McCarthy, and also shortened preseason and not many OTAs and training camps and different things like that. So I'm giving him benefit of a doubt, but it's just not going as I originally planned.
Yeah, and I think when you said his in-game decisions, you kind of mentioned something on that. That was the thing. I mean, he would make some weird decisions going for it on 4th down. When it was like 4th and 3, on their own 35, challenging things he shouldn't have challenged. That was, to me, his biggest faults. And he gave the Vikings some wins back in the day just by making some boneheaded decisions like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to have a coach that has some confidence in your team. Like as a Cowboys fan, we went from ultra conservative from Jason Garrett. Like Jason Garrett was never a go for it type of guy. Like he was always just take the field goal or punt out. And to see Mike McCarthy come out of the gate with it, a lot of fans were excited. Okay, it was just something new, because I felt like Mike McCarthy wanted to separate himself from the Jason Garrett era. But it started to cost us in key moments. I think it back to that Browns game. Dak Prescott, roared back, great in the 4th quarter. And instead of just kicking the ball down the field when we had all the momentum, we did another watermelon kick and gave Baker Mayfield and that team possession right at the 50. And then Odell Beckham Jr. happened, and the end is history. So I feel like there's a lot of those calls I really didn't agree with Mike McCarthy that I expected to really be more in sync when it comes to this team.
Yeah. All right. So Dak Prescott's injury, I mean, that was gruesome. It was tough to watch. The only, I guess, the silver lining was just the love everybody showed for him when he was getting carted off the field. Long term, is Dak Prescott your quarterback of the future? Or if the Cowboys season continues to go downhill and they have a chance to get a Justin Fields, someone like that, are they pulling the trigger on a quarterback, or is Dak their man?
In my eyes, in a lot of realistic Cowboys fans' eyes, Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the future. This guy has done everything you can ask from a quarterback to do from day one. I mean, you got to understand, he was a 4th round draft pick, came in, wasn't really going to probably make the team. I think he was competing for a practice squad position, and he excelled from the moment that he got his opportunity, which a lot of people should respect when it comes to sports. And he's done nothing but, exceed his measure since he's been the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I think that I should say this. I hope that Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones will do the right thing by giving Dak Prescott a long-term contract, especially after seeing what just happened to him. But it's really a coin toss, man. I just don't know. Is it going to be a franchise tag? And if you're Dak Prescott, do you play under another franchise tag after what just happened this past season? So it's a lot of uncertainty floating around with the quarterback position and Dak Prescott's future. Now, I will say this. When it comes to the draft, I know a lot of people are high on these quarterbacks, but I feel like for the Dallas Cowboys, it would have to be either Trevor Lawrence or no quarterback at all. I feel like Justin Fields won't be enough to make Jerry pull the trigger and take Justin Fields and move on from Dak Prescott. If Trevor Lawrence is available, I think Jerry gets antsy a little bit and might consider it, but I don't think it's really from a skill set point of view. I think it's more just what you're able to do on a rookie contract. Once again, maybe you think you can bring in Trevor Lawrence with these offensive weapons that we currently have in place and shore up some things in the defense area, and we can get back to rolling. But if it's up to me, man, we signed Dak Prescott long-term because he's our leader. As you mentioned earlier, man, you saw how the NFL, around the league, just around sports, reacted to Dak Prescott injury. He means a lot to this franchise and also this organization.
Well, I hope you appreciate the respect I showed the Cowboys by not even mentioning Trevor Lawrence, assuming you guys aren't going to finish worse than the Jets. So.
Yeah, I know. Well, sometimes I question that, man, the way things were looking earlier this year, man. But I don't feel like we'll be at that number one spot. So yeah, I don't think the Cowboys will draft a quarterback other than Trevor Lawrence if that's not opportunity.
And speaking, while we're on drafts here for a second, by the way, you're welcome for the 3 Super Bowl championships we gave you. Virtual Walker trade back in the day.
Appreciate it.
Virtual was good for a couple of years. He was fun to play in Tecmo Bowl, but yeah, you guys got the better end of that deal for sure.
Right. He's a great UFC fighter.
Right. Was he playing this again not that long ago in some semi-pro league or something?
I thought he was doing something. I mean, he's all over the place right now. So
there's an age. All right. So, all right. The Vikings and the Cowboys both took wide receivers in the first round of the NFL draft. Completely honest, knowing what you know now, would you take Justin Jefferson over CeeDee Lamb?
Me personally, no. I was one of the people who was jumping on the table when we drafted CeeDee Lamb. I wanted CeeDee Lamb, way back in January. But I honestly, realistically didn't think we have a chance of getting CeeDee Lamb. But when we did it, I was ecstatic. Now, Justin Jefferson's a great talent. And like we were talking about earlier, man, I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles may have regret passing on him, taking Jalen Reagor over Jefferson, because we clearly knew that he was a more than capable wide receiver. We saw what he's able to do at LSU in big moments. So you guys definitely got a great pick. But me right now, just knowing what I know, I wouldn't take Jefferson over CeeDee, even though they both have a great skill set. The reason why I like CeeDee is that he and Dak Prescott have been in sync from day one. And I feel like, that can continue to grow as CeeDee continues to grow. So I would stay with the pick, taking CeeDee Lamb, though Jefferson's a great wide receiver.
Yeah, and I think Cowboys and Vikings both did real well there. Yeah, you're right. The Eagles are the ones who totally shit the bed on that one.
They won't admit it, though.
I kind of gave up. I didn't even think Jefferson, no way he was going to get to our pick. So I was shocked when he was there. I was jumping on tables when we got him. So, again, yeah. I kind of just – it wasn't even a possibility in my mind heading in the draft that we'd get him. But
yeah, exactly. And I knew after we got CeeDee, I was like, okay, well, the Eagles are going to get Jefferson. Okay, well, let's lace him up. And they're like, Jalen Reagor. I'm like, oh. Okay, well, and Jalen Reagor is decent in his own right, but he's not like the top core wide receivers that came out in this draft. So, yeah, we both got lucky in this draft. So I was surprised we even took CeeDee Lamb.
Well, I was surprised when you guys took Elliott too. Just because you're so strong on offense, and then you guys just keep adding pieces there. So, but best player, take him.
Yeah. I was personally one of those guys who wasn't a fan of the Elliott pick. I was actually at that draft in Chicago, and I'm a huge Florida State guy, and I thought we were going to bring my cornerback Jalen Ramsey home to Dallas and shore up that defense, but we chose a running back, and here we are.
Well, since we're talking about the running back, let's just jump ahead to that one. Right now, if you could take Delvin Cook or Ezekiel Elliott on your team, I see you're wearing Ezekiel Elliott hoodie right now. Who would it be? In all honesty.
And like I said, I like Zeke. He's a likable guy, man. But anyone who follows me on Twitter at JTuck151 knows when it comes to my favorite running back in the NFL, it's Dalvin Cook by far. If you go back to the history, even when Dalvin Cook was in college, I said every team that passes on Dalvin Cook will be sorry. Dalvin has always been an explosive player, man. That's just always been his game. It's just always been these little minor injuries that add up to Dalvin Cook. But now we're finally seeing, knock on wood, since he's finally healthy, what he's capable of doing. And I feel like Dalvin Cook has more ability than Ezekiel Elliott. You guys flex Dalvin Cook often out in the pass game. You can give a screen to Dalvin Cook. He can go the distance. So he adds a lot of different dynamics to your offense than Zeke provides. So absolutely, I would get Dalvin Cook. If you go, and I'm sorry, Cowboys fans, but if you go back and read my tweets, I was like, we should have took Jalen Ramsey and we could have came back and got Dalvin Cook and been set. But here we are. But Zeke's a great guy. I'm not one of those guys right now who are bagging on Zeke like we need to move on. I feel like Zeke's just trying to adjust, in life without Dak Prescott and with the shifty O-line, like it's different. And so I feel like he's just trying to find things out right now. But hopefully these last remaining games, Ezekiel Elliott can give us a glimpse of his old self because we're desperately going to need it.
Yeah. And, we were just talking about CeeDee Lamb falling, Justin Jefferson falling. How the hell did Delvin Cook fall around 2?
I don't know. I don't know. I thought that Dalvin Cook was going to be an Eagle once again. But you guys got a hell of a player, man, Dalvin Cook, man. Like, I have like 4 Dalvin Cook Florida State jerseys up there in my closet, man. So I love Dalvin, man. He's one of my favorite players.
And that was the year I think we traded our first round pick to get Sam Bradford. It was like pick 14. And I was saying, if we still had that pick, I would have took Dalvin Cook there at 14. That's how high I was on him. And to get him, I think we ended up trading up in the second round. It was crazy. So.
Yeah, I think the only knock on Dalvin was just his injury history. I mean, he was always just nicked up, man. But that was from carrying all that dead weight at Florida State on his back for so long.
I think there were some rumors, like what happened with Tunzel, or someone put some rumors out right before the draft about his attitude or something. I don't know what it was. But.
There was something, man. But yeah, you guys got a hell of a player, man, which I'm kind of worried about on Sunday.
Maybe the Vikings put those rumors out there.
Yeah, I know, right? I feel like some of these teams leak these images out, like, okay, well, Dalvin Cook may have gotten into an incident last night and all different things.
Yeah.
And
I'm not even trying to make this flow so well, but we were talking draft, and the next question here is about the draft. The Cowboys had a hell of a draft. I loved all your guys' picks, especially didn't see Lamb you did, but Trayvon Diggs was a guy the Vikings were interested in. Obviously, having Stephon here, when he was traded, it kind of felt like that maybe wasn't going to happen. And also Neville Gallimore was another guy we were kind of linked to. We're looking for that big D tackle. How have those two looked, and how is the Dallas rookie class looking so far through just over halfway through the season?
Yeah, they've been tremendous. I mean, it hurts seeing Diggs is fine. I mean, he just got hurt last week or 2 weeks ago in the Steelers game, so he's going to be out for the season, man. But he was starting to excel. Granted, he made some rookie mistakes, but he also showed his big play capability. Neville Gallimore has stepped in huge, especially that Steelers game, man. We had a huge hole in the defensive line, especially after losing Tristan Hill and Don Terry Poe not working out his plan. So Neville Gallimore played beastly against Pittsburgh, so hopefully he can keep up that trend. So I feel like with our draft class, pretty much that first 4, if you think about CeeDee Lamb, Neville Gallimore, Trayvon Diggs, and then also the center Tyler Biadasz, they've all stepped in and got great reps. There's pretty much 2 that's left that's unknown as far as Bradley and Nye. Why he's not getting more reps, we do not know. That's been the huge question mark amongst us Cowboys fans, and then also Reggie Robinson. And then we also, we saw Ben DiNucci play a little bit. But yeah, for this first 4 picks, man, they played solid. So I feel like getting them the reps for this year will be helpful going into next season. So that way they're accustomed to NFL football, which I think they'll excel at.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, your guys' picks, I didn't think we could CeeDee Lamb, but I think in mocks I did for the Vikings, I had us with Trayvon Diggs, Neville Gallimore, and Tyler Biadasz a few times. So I was very jealous of your guys.
It's like the last great thing the Cowboys did was that draft in April. So it's all been downhill since then.
Yeah. All right. So Andy Dalton looks like he may have a chance to play in this game. But actually, after seeing Garrett Gilbert last week, do you want the Red Rifle back under center, or do you want to maybe see what Gilbert can do against the Vikings?
Yeah, this has been an ongoing debate, man. I personally was a fan of Garrett Gilbert after what I saw against Pittsburgh. I felt like he should get another opportunity. And the reason why I said that is because he was able to bring another dynamic to our offense because he was able to use his legs. The very first play against Pittsburgh was a read option to Zeke. And I first thought like, what? Oh, I didn't know he had that in his skill set. So I think I would like to see him get the opportunity. But I think what Mike McCarthy and the staff is saying is that, we are kind of still in that opportunity to make a push as far as the division is concerned. So they want to go with the veteran guy who they paid to be a backup for moments like this. So, I feel like with Andy Dalton, all he has to do is just get the ball to these weapons we discussed, the CeeDee Lambs, the Amari Cooper, the Michael Gallups, and the Ezekiel Elliott's and Tony Pollards. Just do that, not try to be a hero, and hopefully this offense can get some momentum. But for the past, start and a half that Andy Dalton had, he really didn't look too impressive. I mean, we were only putting up like 10 points, I think, against the Cardinals and then, whatnot before he got hurt versus Washington, because our O-line is still limited, especially at the right tackle position. And so as if you guys are able to apply pressure, which I think you will, Andy Dalton's kind of just a sitting duck back there. So I would like to go on with Garrett Gilbert, especially after the bye week, let him get some more reps. But Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys don't care what I think. So,
well, I hope it's Andy Dalton, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, I think a lot of teams do. I mean, because with Garrett Gilbert, it's kind of that unknown. But with Andy Dalton, you pretty much know what you're going to get. And like I said, if you guys can apply pressure, he's not going to be able to move anywhere. So hopefully we can see some more flashes of Andy Dalton back when he was a Pro Bowler, not from last year in Cincy, but it didn't look too good, his first few snaps.
No, it did not. You mentioned the division. That's one thing I do want to talk to you about. The NFC East is pretty much the toilet bowl of the NFL. Is it embarrassing to be in such a bad division, or does it give you hope that no matter how bad things get for the Cowboys, they're basically going to be in this thing till the end because it's just that bad of a division?
Well, I say this, and a lot of people disagree with me. I don't believe the NFC East is a bad division. I believe the NFC East, especially talking about the top two, which everyone talks about, which is Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles, we take our talent for granted. When it comes to the Cowboys, we know what the issue is with our team right now. It's just our starting quarterback is hurt. Dak Prescott is out. I feel like also you want to take Philly into consideration as well, but Philly and Dallas will be two teams you wouldn't want to meet in the wild card because they have the talent to click it on just like that. I mean, we mentioned, what Philly has and also what we have, but I feel like they take a lot of their talent for granted and they just, just don't lock in when opportune times like they really should. So I really don't want to say that we're the NFC least. Granted, things haven't worked out great this season. But I feel like if we did have Dak Prescott, I would be fully confident versus our team, but any team in the NFL. I mean, that's just how I felt. I mean, you saw we were able to do against Seattle, who's kind of one of the front runners that everyone is taking consideration. Dak has beat the Saints plenty of times. Green Bay has kind of been that question mark with us, but I would be fully confident even what we have right now if we had our quarterback. But now since we have Andy Dalton, I'm kind of skeptical.
Yeah. It's kind of been the story of 2020. Teams looking bad and kind of looking good, and you never know what you get from week to week. Again, we're here with Jay Tuck from Cowboys Fans Only, SKOL'ing With the Enemy. Got a few more left for you here before we let you go and watch the NBA draft tonight.
Okay.
If you could pluck one Viking off the team, put him in that Cowboy white and pewter or blue, whatever the hell they call it, I don't know. Who would it be and why?
The simple answer, the fan of me would say Dalvin Cook, of course, but the simple answer would be Harrison Smith, man. I like Harrison Smith, and the Cowboys haven't had a safety since Darren Woodson that was capable. And so I feel like, we've been longing for a safety for so long. There's just so many missed opportunities. I mean, a lot of Cowboys fans, we thought we were going to get Jamal Adams. We struck out on that. We let Earl Thomas just sit at home. So we have been wanting a safety for so long. So we're able to add Harrison Smith to this roster. I would do so in a heartbeat because he's one of those game-changing safeties that can just really, you have to be aware of at all times. He's a playmaker, a solid guy. You can really depend on that backfield, which we do not have.
Yeah, and he was on his game Monday night. Should have had 2 interceptions. That swat he made was amazing. That guy is just so good.
Yeah. I mean, we've been wanting one of those for so long, man. It's for some reason the Dallas Cowboys do not want to address the safety position, and we do not know why. I mean,
every year I mock him a safety, and they never pull the trigger. So
never, not in the second or third round at all. Just like, what, we're okay. We got Xavier Woods back there, who's kind of been, clunky, and then we started off with Clinton Dix, and we cut him before the season, and Darian Thompson, and so it's just all over the place.
Yeah. All right, so every team's got that one player that when he goes on the field, you're like, oh, geez, and the other team gets excited when they see him go out there. Who is that on the Cowboys? Who's the one player that you just, when he's out there, bad things tend to happen?
Right now, it's our right tackle, Terrence Steele, man. So whoever is playing on that side, man, they're going to have a field day. It might be a contract game because he is just not capable at that right tackle position. I mean, game after game, he's just constantly getting beat. I mean, Myles Garrett was just having a field day with them. Anytime there's a big play or a big strip or, just a momentum changing play, it's coming from that right tackle position. He's right there with his phantom blocking. And so for some reason, Mike McCarthy still want to address it. They like the guy, and he just continues to stay out there. The one game against Seattle, he didn't play, and because he had food poisoning, our offensive line actually held up. So I think that's the only way to get the guy off the field is maybe food poisoning. But he is just, he's just been a huge headache for all of us Cowboys fans. Granted, we're used to having Lyle Collins out there, but Lyle Collins is out with the hip injury. But Terrence Steele, you just have to just close your eyes, man, and hope for the best because he's shown no upside as far as that right tackle position is. And he, he was the guy that almost got Andy Dalton killed against Washington. So, I don't know what it is, man. They won't put a tight end over there or chip block or anything. It's just one-on-one, and these defensive ends are having a field day.
Okay, well, our defensive ends haven't been a huge strength with Hunter out, Adenabo not stepping up. We traded Ngakoue, but DJ Wanham, that young guy from South Carolina, is starting to show something. So it'll probably him and Jalen Holmes over your Terrence Steele. So we'll see how they do.
Well, let me ask you a quick question. So what was your guys' thoughts on Everson Griffin? Because that was a short stint, and he did not pan out well in Dallas.
I should have asked you about him. Everson's great.
Was he?
We love Everson Griffin. And even it was weird. He had that weird year where he had to leave for a while with some mental health issues, came back, and he just wasn't the same. But then last year, this guy was playing with fire. He's playing with energy. He was all hyped. He gets everybody hyped up. He's been a great leader. We love Everson. And for him, would he get you guys a sack too? Did he have anything over there in Dallas?
I think he might have had a sack or two, just kind of by accident. Nothing, jumps off the screen. So, yeah, I mean, he just didn't fare well in Dallas. I mean, I think the spotlight was too big. He was going at it back and forth with reporters on Twitter and whatnot, because we were all excited when we got him because we didn't think we were going to get him. And then it was just like play after play. It was just like, this ain't the guy from Minnesota that we saw from last year. So, I don't know
I don't know
or whatnot.
Because I was surprised we didn't try to restructure him harder because he showed he still had plenty in the tank, but maybe the Vikings knew he was running out. But
yeah, so
and then we faced him his first game back in Detroit, so we thought he was gonna be all revved up and looking for revenge, and
nothing. Nothing at all. Yep, that sounds about right.
That was
man.
surprising. I thought you guys got a steal there when you got him. So, all right, one Cowboy who's under the radar, doesn't get nearly as much love as he should. Who is that guy?
I wouldn't say this guy is under the radar per se, but he doesn't get as much love as he should. And that's number 4, our quarterback, Dak Prescott. Like, you'll be probably, amazed to see that a lot of Cowboys fans do not like Dak Prescott. And it comes from within Cowboys Nation. Like, I'm constantly fighting with Cowboys fans about Dak Prescott. And like everyone around the NFL can kind of see his value and what he means to this team and even what we're going through right now. But Cowboys fans are just, there's something about Dak Prescott. They just do not appreciate him. And I feel like a lot of it comes from the transition from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott. They feel like Dak Prescott may have slighted Tony Romo and stole his job or whatnot. It's all type of crazy reasons. But you can never say from a football perspective why to not like this guy. I mean, he does everything. He's a leader on and off the field. He's accurate. You saw what he was able to do in the fourth quarter in a lot of these games before he went down. So I feel like Dak Prescott is the one player on this team who does not get the appreciation that he really deserves. You kind of see it going on right now with the organization by them not wanting to pay him. Like any other team, I'm not sure if he was a Minnesota Viking, you guys would have paid him a long time ago. Because I could think, paying Dak Prescott versus paying Kirk Cousins, you guys could rationalize that. But for some reason, Dallas Cowboys just don't see the value in Dak Prescott. And hopefully after this year, that will change.
We pay everybody. I don't know how we do it. I think I speak on behalf of all Vikings fans. We would love to have Dak Prescott. Kirk Cousins does not get a lot of love here. He's just a big old nerd. But he's been playing. He's just a really expensive game manager, but it's working right now. But we would love to have Dak Prescott.
Yeah. I had a few Browns guys on my channel. They're like, man, we would love to have Dak Prescott, man. Like a lot of teams around the NFL, they would, but for some reasons, I guess you don't appreciate what you have until it's gone. And I feel like if the Cowboys continue to play these games with him in his contract, that might be the issue, and we might see him walk. So
just going to say the same thing. Don't know what you got until it's gone.
Exactly. So.
I mean, you don't want Ben DiNucci out there. I mean,
I know. Yeah. Well, where's his name? Gucci Mane or Nucci Mane or whatever we're calling him for that one game, because we just had to have high hopes against the Eagles that maybe this kid could be a miracle worker. It didn't work out, man. It was a huge clown show with Ben DiNucci out there. So Dak Prescott means a lot to this team, this organization, and he needs to be appreciated and valued. And I hope Jerry Jones will show him that. Absolutely.
All right, last one. Game prediction. Who comes out on top this Sunday, and how much the Vikings win by?
It kind of put me on the spot, man. And here's the thing is, like, I feel like if the Dallas Cowboys defense, which we've seen from the last 2 weeks, can hold up, it could be a good game. Now, if we revert back to what we saw prior to that, man, I can expect a blowout because, as you mentioned, with Thielen, Rudolph and Jefferson, those guys can get loose at any moment, and especially with Dalvin Cook's big play ability, especially with the run game, which we struggle. So if I'm just taking my fandom off right now, I would have to give the edge to the Vikings to win this game. But I would probably say 27 Vikings, 21 Cowboys.
Yeah, you know, and I think the one thing you can hang some hope on is last time we faced a bad team with really good receivers, we got destroyed. The Atlanta Falcons came to town, and we couldn't contain
Yeah,
Julio, Calvin Ridley. So we do have
yeah,
young corners, and they're week to week how they're going to play. So
yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, that was Matt Ryan versus Andy Dalton, man. So hopefully Andy Dalton can find himself to the bye week. And like I said, if he's capable of just getting the ball in their hands, okay, we can have a different story. But from what I've seen thus far, man, until that's proven, I just don't see it. So hopefully, man, we can make it a competitive game, because I feel like if the Cowboys are able to win a few of these games, we might be able to win the division, because the Eagles' schedule is getting a lot more complicated. So kind of, it's up for grabs. So we shall see.
Yeah, and the NFC East, one more win might get you the division.
Yeah, I know it might be a 4-win team, man. So I know a lot of Cowboys fans, they don't want to hear that they're all team tank, man. They're all getting draft reservations or whatnot, man. But I feel like what we've seen the past 2 weeks, you said the Cowboys at least have some fight in them. What we saw versus the Cardinals in Washington, I was kind of worrying about that. But they're actually starting to come together and have a sense of pride out there. So I feel like that can translate into Sunday's game.
Yeah, you guys could actually win the division and still get a pretty high draft pick. So that's a win-win.
Yeah, that'll be the win-win. So who knows, man? Maybe Andy Dalton can, like I said, get on a roll, man, and we can just ride this thing on out to Tampa. Who knows, man? 2020 has been weird enough already.
You never know. You never know.
Exactly.
All right, Jay Tuck, appreciate it. Thanks for SKOL'ing with us today.
Yeah,
One last
appreciate
party
you.
SKOL.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me on. Like I said, I hope it's a good game Sunday, and I appreciate you guys for having me on. And we'll see you, man. Like I said, I'm a huge Dalvin Cook fan, so hopefully he doesn't show out too much on Sunday.
That's right. All right. Be sure to check out Cowboys Fans Only, at least just to razz them in the comments, whatever you got to do.
Yeah,
Again,
appreciate
it. Good luck this, well, not this Sunday, but the Sunday after on Thanksgiving when you guys have your annual game.
Against Washington, so should be an exciting one, man. Gather around the TV to watch some NFC East football, man.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. And remember, guys, always keep your skull in your hole.